the culling of stratholme, a instance where there's a lot of controversy. I mean, you have one side of the argument that says this, and the other side of the argument that says this. And I'll tell you what I think of this situation, but first, let's see what the culling of stratholme is all about. See, this whole thing technically started when Arthas and Uther were sent to Stonebrad to defend from Orcish raid, since, this was during the time that Thrall and whatnot were breaking free from their internment camps. But Arthas was able to kill the Blade Master of the Blackrock's clan, and so, yeah, he then went on a more interesting mission where Jaina and a Captain Falric were sent to help him to investigate this strange plague. Then they fought an undead army in an infested plague granary where they encountered the necromancer Kel'Thuzad in the town of Brill and pursued him to Anderthal. But Kel'Thuzad already infected the stored grain in Anderhall and shipped it out to the outlying village. And before Arthas actually killed him, he spoke of Mal'Ganis, a dreadlord who led the Scourge. They then traveled north to confront Mal'Ganis in Stratholme. Along the way, Arthas and Jaina then stopped at Hearthglen village, but instead were warned by the approaching army of the undead. Arthas ordered Jaina to find Uther so that they can have help while defending this town, but Arthas at this time discovered that the plague was not merely to kill a lot of people, but it means to turn all of them into the undead. Now, his forces barely held out until Uther's reinforcements came and technically saved the village, per se. But then, this is where shit gets interesting. They finally go to the place known as Stratholme, and this is the dialogue that went down, okay? Arthas: "Glad you could make it, Uther. Watch your tone with me, boy. You may be prince, but I'm still your superior as a paladin. As if I could forget. Listen, Uther, there's something about the plague you should know. Oh no, it's too late. These people all have been infected. They may look fine now, but it's a matter of time before they turn into the undead." "What? The entire city must be purged." "How can you even consider that?" "There's got to be some other way. Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city." "You are not my king yet, boy, nor would I obey the command if you were. Then I must consider this an act of treason." "Treason? Have you lost your mind, Arthas?" "Have I, Lord Uther? By my right succession and sovereignty of my crown, I hereby relieve you from your command and suspend your paladins from service." "Arthas, you can't just—" "It's done. Those of you who have the will to save this land, follow me. The rest of you, get out of my sight." "You just crossed a terrible threshold, Arthas." "Jaina?" "I'm sorry, Arthas. I can't watch you do this." See, what basically went down is that Stratholme got infected by the grain. It was too late for them to do anything. Too late to save anybody. There's no cure for the undeath, so these people were basically screwed. So Arthas wanted to purge the city. Now see, this is where things get a little controversial. People say, "Oh, you're killing freaking people. It's inhumane." But let's look at it this way. Would you rather die by your king, or would you rather die and turn into undeath and pretty much get murdered. Either way. You're screwed either way, but wouldn't you rather the quick, clean death of your king? Or you dying by being turned into the undead? Which more than likely be slow. Keep in mind, this wasn't necessarily happening in the instance in World of Warcraft, but in Warcraft 3, Mal'Ganis, the Dreadlord that Arthas is going after, is also turning undead as you kill people before they turn. So it really doesn't matter if, we listen to Uther and Jaina when they said, oh, let's fucking wait it out. Because guess what? We would have a huge-ass army of the undead. And it would be tough as hell to fucking even do that. The army of the undead's already massive. Arthas barely escaped Hearthglen. And then the whole city of Stratholme? Yeah, that's a pretty heavy toll there. Yet, see, this is where I think the big turning point of where Arthas just doesn't give a fuck anymore. Because for one, Uther, one of the most respected paladins that he probably considers, pretty much slapped him. Granted, he probably could have handled it a little better, but And also Jaina, his love of his life, also slapped him in the face right there, basically betraying him. They didn't really think of what else they could do. They just said, oh, there has to be another way. Yet, there was nothing else they could do except purge the city. I don't understand why Uther and Jaina would just back down on them. And this is where I think the biggest turning point of Arthas Menthano transformation to the Lich King, became right here. It may have started at Hearthglen when he was getting a little stressed from all the people turning into dead, but here, where the love of his life and his most respected teacher betrayed him, that's when I think he lost a lot of faith, more than likely in the light and whatnot. And well, I think it's bull. I think that's what I think of this controversial event. I think what Arthas did was exactly just. That the people are gonna die anyways. It's just this way. At least they would die by either prince, their future king, and they would be spared of turning into undead, possibly attacking one of their own family members. So when people say that Arthas was a monster for this, really think about it, because Arthas was thinking, He wasn't just randomly killing people. They were already infected. The grains were already distributed to people. Mal'Ganis was already killing people while this was going on. It was just a matter of time before all of the people in Stratholme were turned, even if they did nothing, like Uther and Jaina suggested. So, my last thoughts on this is that Arthas, this was a very big turn of events where I think Arthas made the right decision and Uther and Jaina did not. And Jaina still thinks Arthas is a monster for this. And granted, she is using this as a reason not to make herself do shit, like she almost drowned Ogrimmar because she got reminded by Caligos about this. But I'll talk about that instance later. But anyways, that is what I thought about it. So, again, thanks for watching, and goodbye.